Etsy in 2025, still worth it or total waste of money? Hi, I'm Laura and I draw cats and I share behind the scenes tips about being a small artist. So like many artists, when I thought about selling online, my first thought was to go to Etsy. But when I looked into it, I found out that the fees are kind of a lot. On Etsy, you pay a listing fee for each item in your store, and this fee is charged regardless of if you actually make a sale. When you do make a sale, you're charged both a transaction fee as well as a payment processing fee. In comparison, let's take a look at Square. With Square, you get charged a payment processing fee, however, you avoid the listing and the transaction fee. So then you may ask, why use Etsy at all? Well, the promise of discovery. The concept of Etsy is that people will arrive at Etsy with an idea of what they want to buy, and if they want to buy what you're selling, Etsy will connect them to your store. In my first year, Etsy sent me 139 visits, which resulted in 2 sales, far lower than what I saw on any other platform that I used. So I had all but written Etsy off when I received an email from them asking me if I wanted a free trial of Etsy Plus. And I am nothing if not a sucker for a free trial. So I gave it another go, and here's what happened. With Etsy Plus, I received 80 visits directly from Etsy and made $102 in sales, which after shipping costs resulted in $74 of profit. Etsy charged me $17 of fees, which means they took 23% of my profits. Let's compare Etsy's performance with Faire. Faire is very similar to Etsy, but it's meant for wholesale business, and it's the platform that I am the most established on. Faire charges a transaction and a processing fee, though it does not charge a listing fee. Similar to Etsy, Faire takes about 23% of my profit. However, what distinguishes Faire from Etsy is Faire drives a ton of traffic to my store, and Faire does not charge a transaction fee for any customers that I bring to the platform. So again, I ask, is Etsy still worth it in 2025? Well, for me, if I make 1 sale, then that's enough to cover all of my fees. And if I make 2 sales, then I'm starting to turn a noticeable profit. Because I'm interested in small businesses and online business, I'll probably continue to keep mine open. However, if I were a small artist just starting out, I don't know that Etsy is where I would invest my time and money. That being said, I do want to mention that in the months of November and December, I did have a pretty considerable spike in traffic. So if you are interested in trying out Etsy, I would recommend that you try it out during the holiday season. So what do you think? Is Etsy still worth it? Follow me for more small business tips and cat drawings. All right, thanks guys.